People are maybe externally free and not internally free. And this is something that we've really realised after interviewing a lot of multimillionaires. When you take risks, whether that's travelling or building businesses, you have to work on yourself.
Once you start focusing on the positives, you start to see opportunities, right, to change your external circumstances anyway. But if you're so focused on the negative,
You'll keep attracting negative experiences.
and you'll miss opportunities.
The most important thing is your internal, because then you're going to create a better external.
Let's do a cheers before we
Cheers.
start. Cheers, whatever drink you've got at home as well. We've gone for a green smoothie today.
Yeah, when in Mexico.
Okay. Today.
Okay.
Today we're talking about a very exciting topic, one that we've been discovering on our freedom journey. And it's all about this external versus internal freedom, which by now you would have heard us and our guests talk a lot about.
Yeah, now this is going to be huge because there's a big difference. There really is a big difference. So you could be internally free, but not quote unquote externally free, whatever that looks like to you. But most of the time, people are maybe externally free and not internally free. And this is something that we've really realised after interviewing a lot of multimillionaires that have had the money, lost the money, some people still have the money. And there's a common theme, and we've experienced it, where we've been internally free. To give you a bit of context, what do we even mean by this? So externally free is more, I would call it more of the physical.
Yeah, like your location.
Your location.
Where you live.
Where you
your
live.
House, the cars you drive, the places you go to eat.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, that's what I would
Just the
sum up.
physical, just your physical life.
Yeah.
But then there's the internal freedom, which is all of the inside, your inside world, because our
Your mind,
experience.
your soul, your health.
So to give you some vulnerability, because I know you love a bit of vulnerability, we were living in Bali and we were there for 3 months, and it was probably one of our hardest financial times of our entire life.
We only went because I'd committed to do a retreat for a good friend of mine. But financially, we wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for that.
I actually went and got my hair done. I got my hair done in Istanbul. I had a hair transplant. And we were actually in Istanbul, Turkey, and it was crazy. We said goodbye, so our family will probably be watching this now. But we said goodbye to all of our family.
Hoping that we'd not be back in a week's time.
We didn't have our flights even booked to Bali by that point. We just went to Istanbul, Turkey. I was like, because we always pull it off. We always make it work. That's
meant to be, it will happen.
Our mindset has always been, we'll make it work. We will make it work. And we were in Istanbul, and we ended up making it work. We got a decent flight over to
we
Bali.
were buzzing because we got a really good flight.
We got a good flight, actually.
Like,
yeah, we got a good deal. So, like, you know, this is what I mean. Like, we've done some crazy things, and sometimes, like, you know, we're like, can we get the flight? You know, like, we've been in these positions, and we know what we're building. And you know, I've had periods of creating. Oh, I've got a flight.
They want the smoothies. Maybe hold them in your hand.
Yeah, maybe it's getting attracted.
Yeah. But yeah, so we got on that flight and we went to Bali. But while we were there, Callum's business was not moving.
No.
I didn't really have one. I was in the very early stages where I wasn't charging enough.
So between the two of us, we were
in a pickle.
I had a little bit of money coming in from a few clients, but
it was touch and go.
It was touch and go. Like, it was, you know, we were guest house hopping in Bali to save money, but actually it probably didn't really save money because you're constantly moving around, you're constantly looking for other things.
Well, I was also trying to explore this beautiful place we were in, right? Because we were also like, we can focus on the lack of money, but we can also look at all the beauty around us, and like we did loads of free things like waterfalls, and Bali's an amazing place.
And I think that as well, because there was actually a time and experience when we were in Bali and we had to take food off our food shopping. That was probably one of our like lowest points that we've ever experienced as a couple. And like we didn't want to ask any money from home. We didn't want to ask family. So we were like, right, we're just going to make it work. And
it can only go up from there.
It can only go up. And it really built character. And not only did it build character for us.
Oh my God, we've been so grateful.
But it's the gratitude, the gratitude of like when we now we're like, wow, full fridge.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the little things.
We always can take these little things for granted.
And actually, like, obviously, episode 2 of this podcast, Malcolm, obviously, he built an 8-figure business, obviously, by 24. He said that, you know, he was spending like 30, 40 grand on a weekend in Miami. He said he lost the value of money. He lost the gratitude of it, and then ended up losing it all. And then because he lost it all, he's now got so much more gratitude for everything, for the food that we have, for the water that we have, for the money that we receive. You know, when you buy things, being grateful for buying it rather than worrying about buying it, having just a lot of gratitude of what money can bring into all of our lives. Because obviously they say money is the root to all evil. So why did I share that story? Well, externally, you know, especially on social media, like, you know, me and Ellie, we're going down a very path now. We're just sharing everything. We're being extremely vulnerable. But we didn't want to scare our family on social media by, you know, sharing about these things that we were struggling with. Not at the time. So, like, externally on social media,
you saw the waterfalls and the days out,
the trips that we did, and don't get me wrong, it was an amazing experience. We needed it, and we had some amazing experiences there. But internally, it was chaos.
But it showed externally. People said that you two don't look healthy. And I look back at photos and I'm like, oh my god, stress.
That wasn't our
not our best look.
It wasn't the finest moment.
No. But yeah, even though externally we were living that life, it just shows that internally, you know. But then it can be the other way around, right? I remember before I went travelling, I felt like I was internally quite a free person, and all I needed was the external, right? So then we started travelling. You know, it was amazing. And I think the first time I started to realise, was when I started building my Facebook community in Turkey.
Building your business.
Yeah, and it was like, whoa, actually, all the self-doubt was coming up. You know, all the, like, trauma from being in the performing industry was coming straight back up. And I thought, damn, I'm in this beautiful villa. This was the life I dreamed of. But now I got to deal with all this inside. Because
this is the thing. When it comes to, when you take risks, whether that's travelling or building businesses, whatever that is, you have to work on yourself. You have to do the internal work. Because then when you do the internal work, and that's why there'll be a lot of people that may have external success, but they haven't actually done the work on themselves.
What do we mean by that? Because someone might be like, what do you mean by work on yourself? So, what we mean by that is like confronting your fears and your shadows and figuring out what you really want, not what you think you want, and who you are and what you're here to do, your purpose, like just getting deep, getting away from the external noise of the world and going within. And for me, the start of this was doing yoga.
Yeah.
What about you? Yours was lockdown.
Mine was lockdown, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it will come to you when you're ready for it. Because I wasn't ready for it before, my life before lockdown, and then after lockdown, it come into my life. But to the start of mine was actually losing my nan. My first grieving experience really taught me a lot about myself.
Yeah, no, that's really powerful. Yeah, I mean, the journey continues, and I think when it comes to this game of life, I think if you can focus more on your internal, how you feel, your emotions, because a lot of people just block it out.
Well, whatever's going on internally will show up in your life externally, right? So if you're currently living somewhere that you don't love, what's going on inside? Where are you lacking love inside? Because that could be showing up outside. It's not always, I just don't like where I live. It's like, but you might like it if you are happier in yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And also as well, it's the internal side of everything. But especially when it comes to building businesses, a lot of business problems are actually personal problems.
Yeah, and I guess it'd be the same with a career, right? Like a theatre career.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm just thinking back to my old self. It would relate in any area of your life. Yeah. Relationships, finances, health. Whatever you do, even like your corporate job, whatever it is.
And that's why, you know, on this podcast, everyone that the freest people that we interview in the world, we speak to them all about internal freedom, to get their perspectives of the internal, the mental, the mindset work that they've had to do to be able to create the level of freedom in their lives.
And when you start doing the internal work, you notice your external circumstances changing, like your finances, your career.
Even like little things, like you said, like if you're currently hating your job right now, or you're hating your business, or whatever it is that you're really not like, or you're not happy with your health, that's as an example, like just as something to like start you off straight away, it's like find that, like you said earlier, find the love, find the gratitude. Like if you can be grateful for your job right now,
even though it's not where
even though you want more, but you got to think actually, well, actually that job, what's it is doing? Oh, it's bringing me an income.
Food on the table.
It's bringing you food on the table. It's all these things. Yes, like use that as a drive and fuel that you want more. Let's say, for instance, you're watching us right now, filming this podcast, and we're literally been in Mexico for the last 6 months. Like we wouldn't have been able to do that without taking risks, without going online. But we've shared with you on this episode that, we've been in beautiful places in the world before, and we weren't actually internally free. And then we were missing all of the beauty around us, and that's when we really started to focus on the gratitude. I think step number one.
Yeah, because then I think once you start focusing on the positives, you start to see opportunities, right, to change your external circumstances anyway. But if you're so focused on the negatives,
you'll keep attracting negative experiences,
and you'll miss opportunities. You'll miss like that person that you could have spoken to who could have helped you with this and that, and it's crazy. And someone said to us the other day that like life is just a game, and it really is. And like the more energized and fun you're having, the more fun the game will be.
Yeah, exactly. And also as well, like everything's a frequency. So if you're hating your job and you're in this hate energy, then it's like you got to look at yourself as a magnet. So it's like a positive magnet attracts positive, negative attracts negative. So if you're in this negative state, or let's say you're not in the best shape in the world, as an example, and every time you look at yourself in the mirror and you're so stressed out and you hate your body, you hate this, just remember, have the gratitude that you're alive.
Yeah.
And it's like focusing on that.
And you can make a change.
Of course you can make a change. But first you want to change your state. You want to change your state, you want to change your frequency. Because it's like, if you're, for instance, let's say this is a big thing. So I've always had a sales background and obviously now growing businesses. When it comes to business and sales, there's this mentality of just hustling, just constantly working. But let's say, for instance, you want to grow more abundance and you're working, hustling so much, and you're working 20-hour days, right? But you're working from a state of fear, from a state of desperation, from being scared. You could be taking all the action in the world, but because of, that's like the external. The action is like the external, right? But what's going on internal? Are you taking the external action from a place of fear and desperation? Then that's going to impact your external. So that's why I think the most important thing is your internal, because then you're going to create a better external. And even the current external you have right now, you can change your internal state now to start making the external that you're living in right now better, which is going to make you happier, which is going to make you more energized, which is then going to help you attract even more.
So let's ask you a question now so you can start to integrate this into your life. So I want you to look around or even write down what your external world looks like, where you're living, who you're with, what you're doing for work, how you show up every day, what clothes you're wearing, what car you're driving, literally everything you can see around you, everything you do on a daily basis. And then I want you to jot down those areas that are maybe not fulfilling you right now, or maybe just not making you as happy. And then what I want you to do is go inward through meditation, or just simply lying with your eyes closed and letting an answer come to you. Don't try and find the answer, just let it come to you next time you're relaxing, and start to think about the emotions behind it. And once you start to change the emotion, notice that the external will start to change. And that's something so simple. We can all do. I could probably think of a few off the top of my head right now that I can start doing that with. And let us know in the comments when you start to feel the changes and how you did it, because how I would do it would be different to how you would do it. But that's just a really simple way that you can start to figure out Yeah.
Also, all the freedom challenges that we're doing on every single podcast as well, the real work isn't just listening to us. The real work is actually doing these challenges that we're setting for you as well. And as asking yourself the powerful questions that we give you, but also our guests give you. Like, this is like free coaching for you. And you can join our community, Freedom Lifestyle, below completely for free. And these freedom challenges are going to be inside there, as long as being able to access all the different mentors and coaches and amazing entrepreneurs and the freest people in the world. You're going to be able to access them. You're going to be able to ask them questions on the Q&A. They're going to be doing exclusive trainings for you inside the community. So we're excited to see you in the Freedom Lifestyle community.
And let's take action internally to change externally.
Ooh, let's expand what's possible together. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego, baby.